You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Tuesday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
I don't know if anyone that listens to this is planning on going to Wasaga Beach anytime this summer, or the hell there's a long weekend coming up.
I was going to say big, long weekend destination for sure.
There is a huge problem going on in Wasaga Beach right now. Apparently people are defecating on the beaches and in the water a lot.
My favorite is that, the municipality has had to step up and be like, please stop.
Oh, yeah,
Please stop pooping on the beach.
Literally, the mayor came out and said that if you see anyone doing something, please report it, which has got to be the funniest phone call to make.
Well, here's my question. Honestly, I get what he's saying, right? If you see someone shitting on the beach, call the authorities. We can't let this
If you
keep
see
happening.
or smell something, say something, yeah.
In your honest opinion, you and Courtney and the dogs are walking down the beach and you look over and someone's in a full squat, pants around ankles, dropping deuce in the beach. Is your first thought to make a phone call?
No, it's just get the hell out of there,
We
man.
gotta go, babe. Let's
It's no
go.
difference than, if you go down an alleyway and you see someone with their pants around their ankles, you get the hell out of there, man.
I think that's just a universal sign. I don't think there's anywhere where you see someone with their pants around their ankles and you go, all right, cool.
But this is a problem because my dad lives in Wasaga Beach and everyone that lives there is getting pissed off about it and
Well,
stuff.
sure.
And then Ontario Parks is saying that they're going to be issuing fines and then there could be charges and stuff because it is indecent exposure too, right?
yeah,
So-
I mean, you gotta bust out the majority of your bits to be able to do that.
Yeah, also just shitting on the beach, I don't know, it just seems like such a bad move. Just getting, because you're already gonna get sand in your ass crack being at the beach anyway.
That's just it. The number one complaint about going to the beach is sand gets everywhere. Now you're gonna put your butthole to the turf? What are we doing here?
Imagine stepping on that.
Oh,
Walking through the sand, I don't know. I don't like it, to be honest, that much anyway, especially when it's wet.
what was that stuff you used to play with as kids? Floam? You remember that?
Oh, God.
Now you're walking through it.
Yeah.
It's sandy.
Dude, it's literally the nightmare of, I remember people used to go to public swimming pools and throw O. Henrys in there.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's just real.
Dude, you're always complaining about how nobody picks up after their dogs. We can't even get people to pick up after themselves
If you're
now.
going to Wasaga Beach, at least bring some bags with you, all right? That's all we ask.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I've really enjoyed watching the Olympics. This is a time of year where you learn some of these amazing athletes that don't get the international spotlight that maybe they're due. They're the best at what they do in the entire world. But I have recently been introduced, thanks to TikTok and Instagram, to Portia Woodman.
Who's that?
She is possibly the most intimidating, badass woman on the planet. Also plays for the women's New Zealand rugby team.
Oh, yeah, hands down, she's probably a genetic freak.
All I've seen in the last 4 days since the Olympics started is just highlight reels of her absolutely decimating women.
I'll say this, and I mean this in the most respectful way. If
Sure.
you play rugby, there's a small part of you that's a bit of a psychopath.
Absolutely. You have to be to play in the sport competitively.
Yeah.
You're out there. The whole purpose of the game is just to crash and bang into one another.
I don't know too much about rugby, but I'd say, from an outsider looking in, it's a giant game of kill the carrier.
Absolutely. That, honestly, is
Right?
a pretty apt description of it. Just watch this clip here. It's a highlight reel of Portia Woodman. Right here, you see she gets tackled, and then she pops back up and picks up the woman who tackled her.
The faces that she makes. Dude, I'd be scared to date her, man.
Oh, absolutely. You'd be getting absolutely every door for her.
Oh, my God.
100%
Yeah.
of the time. Do you think rugby players are the most badass Olympians? I mean, it has to be. They have to be in the argument for most badass sport in general.
Yeah, I'd say rugby's up there, and then, boxing, because, anyone who's willing to get punched in the face for a living.
Right, yeah. Anybody who's I would like to exchange face punches with another grown person.
I'd say it goes rugby and boxing, but then if I could include Winter Olympics,
Okay.
skeleton.
Oh, 100%. The idea that you're going to throw yourself head first down an icy slide
You'd be nuts.
with just a little track underneath you.
If you partake in skeleton, I assume growing up you were an absolute handful for your mother.
Your parents were stressed 24/7.
Yeah.
I would also include water polo. as an event.
Yeah?
Where I think that you have to be a little bit badass to play it. It's full
I think you just got to be
contact,
good at treading water.
but also taking elbows to the face.
Sure, yeah.
Like, that's the thing, is the violence that happens in and under the water is crazy.
I think if you're a professional water polo player, you just had to have like older brothers or older sisters. Is all it is in a pool in the backyard.
If you grew up avoiding drowning by someone you knew and loved, you were a water polo player.
I feel like if you're a water polo player, you're probably the youngest sibling in the family, is all it is.
I would love to see that study, actually.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I just found a wild stat. Because you were saying rugby's the most badass Olympic sport in your opinion.
Well, it might be recency bias, but this video of Portia Woodman, the New Zealand rugby player, just slaughtering girls, has me thinking there's no one tougher than a rugby player.
I just found a stat. I want you to take a guess here.
Okay.
How many rugby players in professional rugby do you think have died?
During, like, playing the game?
Yes.
Oh, this music never bodes well for me.
It's since 1890, by the way.
Okay. I mean, I'll say like 14. I feel like they hit each other a lot, but I don't remember hearing a lot about death.
Very close. Only 13 professional rugby players have actually died in a rugby match before.
That's crazy, man.
I found some other ones if you want to keep going.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so hammer throw, right? Big at the Olympics.
Yeah.
There's only a stat from the year 2000, but how many people do you think have died from the hammer throw?
In the last 24 years? Is this throwers or people who've been hit by hammers?
It doesn't say. It just
doesn't
says
specify?
hammer throws have resulted in blank deaths.
Oh, let's roll an even dozen. Let's say 12.
A little high. Only 4.
Okay, that's probably for the best.
Yeah.
I have to assume those were all people who got hit with
I
hammers.
should do more research into that online.
Well, you just found it. That's completely
Is
fair.
it judges? Is it people watching?
Because that'd be so awful if you all that stress going into the throw and then you let it go and your heart's just like, and we're done.
In the run of a year, because surfing's new to the Olympics, how many people in a year do you think die surfing?
Oh, surfing. Is professional surfing deaths?
Yes.
Because it's professional, it's lower than I was probably first going to say, but I'll say like 25 in a year?
A little high. 10 people a year die professional surfing.
Wow, okay. Maybe I'm more morbid than I thought.
Pole vaulting.
People die in pole, I guess.
Yeah.
Just from the fall, if you miss the mats, that could mess you up. Mm-hmm. I'll say 6.
Oh, too low.
Is this in a year?
Since 1980, 20 athletes have died pole vaulting.
Oh, I thought it was in a year.
No. 20 athletes have died pole vaulting since 1980. They say 38 have suffered skull fractures, and 44 have sustained serious injuries.
Holy hell.
I mean, we've all seen the video of the guy kind of nutting himself there before.
You know, it's
right?
funny. I always was mad because in the Hay River, the territories, pole vault was the only track and field event they didn't have.
Yeah.
And I was a jumper when I was in track. I was like, I want to do the pole vault. I'm kind of happy now that I didn't.
All right, moving on here. How many people do you think have died playing hockey?
Oh, playing hockey, professional
hockey.
In a year or since a date?
Just overall.
Just in general?
Yeah.
Oh, God. 75?
Too high. Only 25 recorded in professional hockey itself.
Okay.
Not including like your beer leagues or anything like that.
Right, yeah. Maybe my scope was too wide. That's good, though. That's not
moving
as bad.
outside of like Olympic sports here, how many bull riders do you think have died? This is the closest they can get the stats is back to 1989.
Jesus,
which means there was deaths.
Countless deaths before
Since
that.
1989, how many bull riders do you think have died?
Oh, you know what? Give me my 75 back. I feel like there's got to be a significant number.
Only 20.
Really?
A lot of people paralyzed.
Shouldn't laugh at that, but
only 20 people have died, though.
The phrasing of it. A lot of people have been paralyzed.
That feels low, right?
That feels super low.
They should advertise that for the PBR. Nobody dies here.
Honestly, I think that would work against it. It's like NASCAR. You kind of go for the crashes, right?
Now, moving to the other end of bulls. Bullfighting, how many people do you think have died?
Not enough. Sorry. Bullfighting. I feel like bullfighting, they're more in control, so I'll say 50.
534 people have died bullfighting.
Damn.
You got to think of
okay.
like the running of the bulls and like all that stuff
Yeah,
too.
oh, I guess if you factor that in, yeah, you're right.
I don't even want to know on a yearly basis what happens for that.
I was
but-
just thinking of like the guys in the weird bun wigs with the red flags.
All right, we'll wrap up with this one because this one is crazy.
I'm doing terribly.
Boxing,
Oh, God.
and the stats go back to 1884.
Oh, God.
And it's a rough estimate, by the way.
Well, yeah, because back in the 1800s, they didn't have rounds.
How many professional boxers do you think have died in the ring since 1884?
It's got to be, it might even be more than 1,000.
It is.
5,000.
It is a little lower.
3,642.
2,000 boxers, as a quote-unquote rough estimate,
Jesus.
have died in the ring. This article also says not including people who left the ring.
And then died later?
Yeah, there's
Oh
only
my God.
2,000 that have died in the ring.
Yeah, the other, that's where my 5,000 guess comes from, is all the people who went home and did it.
My thing is, like, if you win the title, do you still celebrate?
If the other guy dies, I maybe, like, respectfully, right? You know, get a quick selfie and go. I don't
Get a quick selfie and go.
Not with the opponent, with the belt.
I mean, you're the one who said it, not me.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
It's time for Brock and Dalby's draft.
All right. I'm getting sick and tired of all the commercials during the Olympics.
Yeah, they're getting old.
They're
And we're
driving me
only in
crazy.
the first week of the games.
Today, we are going to do a draft of our favorite slogans from companies.
For over all time. Not just Olympic ones, not just current ones. The greatest slogans of all time as chosen by us.
All right, we've got 3 picks each for the best slogans draft here. I'm going to start first. Number 1, I'm going with something that is a huge part of, well, a lot of Canadians' upbringings. And maybe you don't even like the company itself, but damn well you've probably said it once in your life.
I am Canadian!
I'm
That
going with
is
Molson Canadian.
Huge. What was his name? Like Joe Canadian or something
like that.
that?
That's one of the biggest Canadian ad campaigns of all time.
I used to watch guys stand up at bars when I was like DJing to try and pay for school and stuff like that. They would stand up and recite the whole speech word for word, and everybody in the bar would clap like, yeah, you did it.
Oh, there's nothing better than
I am Canadian!
just warms the soul, you know?
You can also tell how old that slogan is from the quality of that clip.
Yeah.
That's the best clip out there.
What do you got for your first pick?
My number 1 overall pick has to be maybe the most iconic sports slogan of all time. And it's interesting because when you watch the commercials, they never say it themselves. So I had to pull this clip of Shia LaBeouf.
Just do it!
Oh, Nike.
It's Just Do It from
Yeah.
Nike. The swoosh, it's so iconic, the combination of the two of them. It is sports, that sentence.
With my number 2 pick, I'm going to go back to our Saskatchewan routes a little bit here, and I don't know if everybody knows this, but there was an ad campaign that Saskatchewan pork producers did a few years ago, and it was Pork the One You Love. They used to have it on billboards out in Saskatchewan,
Do you remember that?
and it was my favorite thing of all time. It would be like a guy grilling, and his
Yeah.
girlfriend's there, and it was just Pork the One You Love. That is hands down one of the greatest slogans of all time.
It gets your attention, and it's not like it's not a big fancy product, right?
Yeah.
But they say, hey, you're going to look at this billboard, you're going to take pictures of it, you're going to share it online. It's really well done from their marketing team.
Yeah.
I am going to food next. I said it earlier. Food companies have slogans down pat. The greatest one of all time, and again, it's annoying, but it lives inside all of our brains like a sleeper agent.
Yeah.
It's McDonald's, man. I'm loving it. Ever since that commercial came out with Justin Timberlake, has become a mainstream uttered phrase. Even when you're not talking about McDonald's, people still do the
I will say, I feel like you're going the mainstream route. I've got some indie picks here.
Yeah, you definitely are going off the board.
These are true to my soul. And you know what? I'm not regretting anything. My third pick,
Yeah.
greatest slogans of all time, I'm going with the CFL Our balls are bigger.
That is an excellent pick.
I had one of those shirts when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the coolest thing. I used to talk smack to people all the time, be like, yeah, our balls are bigger. We got 3 downs. Classic CFL fan.
I've definitely changed my position on the CFL versus NFL argument since I was a kid, but at the time, you're right. That slogan was something that like Canadians could get behind to be like, we're better than you.
I learned at a young age that size does matter. Okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My final pick, I am staying in the mainstream because I'm just thinking, for me, it's all about slogans that stand the test of time, that became everyday conversation pieces, that even when you're not talking about the product, you're still using the slogan. And this is an older one.
Timex, it takes a licking and keeps on ticking.
Which is still a phrase that we use anytime somebody
You
or
were trying to say
something-
my I Am Canadian clip was old? When was that recorded?
Oh, that was easily the 1970s.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I've never heard that before.
You've never heard the slogan, takes a licking, keeps on ticking?
No.
Oh, dude, it's one of the most used phrases because even it transcends the idea was the watch was so durable you couldn't break it.
Yeah.
But now it gets used for any item, any person that like keeps going, that persists in spite of hardships.
Yeah, maybe you hear that in retirement homes. I've never heard anyone say that before.
Brother, you're not doing enough watch shopping. That's the problem.
No, I'm just not old like you are. I'm cool with having the indie picks here. I'm fine.
What are your 3?
I got I Am Canadian #1. I've got Pork the One You Love, the Saskatchewan Pork Producers one. And I've got the CFL Our Balls Are Bigger.
On the more mainstream side of things, I started with Just Do It from Nike. I'm loving it from McDonald's at number 2. And the Timex slogan, it takes a licking, keeps on ticking, in at number 3.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I officially have a new favorite baseball player.
I am?
And that is James McCann.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, you didn't watch the Jays game yesterday, did you?
No, they were like in a doubleheader or something yesterday?
Yeah, they were playing the Orioles, and catcher James McCann is at the plate. And if you haven't seen it here, look at my screen here.
Okay.
Premium.
Oh, God!
Can in the helmet.
Now, the announcer says the helmet.
That
Here,
wasn't a helmet.
I'll turn the volume up, but keep looking at the video. This guy got socked in the nose with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Oh, my God.
He's just gushing. If you want to see the video for yourself,
It's that. Oh, the towel. Oh,
it's graphic.
that's a lot.
Text baseball to 762-555 or check out the podcast links. Look, they're trying to like stuff up his nose there.
Well, yeah, you got to try and block it up and let it clot.
And
right?
then here, I'll pod the volume back up here.
Is this dude really going to stay in the game?
He's not.
If he stays in the game, he is the toughest guy in the world.
You can tell his nose is clearly broken.
Absolutely. Yeah, he looks like he's an Olympic wrestler.
He looks like he just fought a bear, man. It's insane. They get him off the field. They get him a new jersey. He refuses to stay in the dugout, stays on first base, went to first base, played the rest of the game.
Wow.
And then his next at-bat, he got a single as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, if you're the pitcher the next time he comes to the plate, you got to be terrified to do it again.
Oh,
right?
my God. I don't even know how you'd be able to go up to the plate again. Just that.
Premium.
Oh, the sound.
That is the sound of a 95-mile-an-hour fastball hitting a man's face.
That's baseball and meat. That's what that sound is. Because you're right.
Got McCann in the helmet.
He says the helmet. He did not.
Square in the nose.
He got him right in the mush.
And then he's got like, I don't know, whatever they jammed up his nose.
The gauze?
Yeah, there's a like a post-game like press conference photo of him, and like he looks like Rocky or something, man. Like it's insane.
I was confused at first because you were like, I've got a new favorite baseball player. And I'm like, for getting hit in the face? But staying in the game is tough, dude.
Even here's another one. Look at him behind the plate, still playing catcher.
Yo.
With the mask on and everything. You can see his eyes are starting to swell up.
He's probably asking, can I wear this at my next at-bat?
Oh,
he wants
my
to
God.
keep that catcher's mask on the rest of the game.
He just looks like a madman, honestly.
He
Like,
looks intense, dude.
His jersey sales are probably going to go through the roof. just for this alone.
See, this is where baseball has an opportunity to capitalize on things, and they won't, because they could release a special James McCann jersey that's just a regular Orioles jersey, but with some, like, red on it.
Oh, you can guarantee if he's playing on the Orioles next year, there's going to be the James McCann broken nose bobblehead. For sure, man.
I'll be first 1,000 in attendance. That sounds like a hell of a collectible.
That's going to be his legacy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if he wins a World Series, a Golden Glove, an MVP, whatever. James McCann is always going to be known as the dude who took a fastball to the face.
That's such a visceral noise.
I'm going to get him to autograph my nose next time Baltimore's in town.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Not that we play the music or talk about it all that often, but Taylor Swift is getting ready to come to Canada for a couple of shows in Toronto as well as out in British Columbia.
Dude, people are spending an arm and a leg to go to some of these shows.
It is absolutely wild the lengths that people will go just to try and get their hands on tickets, and then they figure out how they're actually going to get there and stuff.
It's a great time to be a scalper right now.
Absolutely. Or to be in the lottery business. Have you seen BC Lotto, like their version of OLG, whatever it is, got their hands on some Taylor Swift tickets, apparently?
People are buying lottery tickets now to go to a Taylor Swift show?
They are launching what they call the Concert of a Lifetime Monday Lottery, where players will be able to spend $25 on a scratch ticket to become eligible to win a mystery jackpot, which they are saying is the concert of a lifetime. They have not specifically said that the winner will get Taylor Swift tickets. They say, like, oh, we're going to announce that soon. But they're advertising, I guess, and I don't know these, but has a bunch of Swift references that the internet has picked up on.
It would be really funny if it didn't end up being Taylor Swift and it was like, I don't know, like tickets to the Wiggles or something.
It was Nazareth. Dude, imagine
just tickets to go see Trooper.
Imagine being the band that everybody thought was going to be Taylor Swift. You would get so much hate. It would be out of control.
It's not your fault, though.
It's not your fault, but it's not going to stop people from being like, you're not Taylor Swift. You suck.
Yeah.
Would you buy tickets this way, though? Like, obviously, neither you or I are going to buy lottery tickets.
To be honest, I would, because if I won them, I'd just sell them.
Non-transferable.
Oh,
yeah,
damn,
they made
man.
that because brother, the first thing I thought of when I saw this story is I'm buying a ticket.
I would absolutely do that.
You could make tons of money on that. No, non-transferable. If you win the lottery, it's you get a box to go to the show. You have to go with you and your friends.
I mean, it's there's a lot of like groups I'm in for like Toronto Maple Leaf stuff, and it's called Razzle now, and people will be like, I've got like center ice tickets. You bid $5 and you could win the tickets or whatever. So I've seen a lot of stuff like that lately. So and I've done it before.
I don't hate the idea, to be honest, especially for stuff like, I mean, taking aside Taylor Swift tickets, which are like generational, like it's crazy the demand for these.
Sure.
Even something as regular as Toronto Maple Leaf tickets, the prices have gotten so out of control, not to mention the food and everything else once you get there, that I don't hate the idea if teams themselves, like, cut out the middleman, get rid of the sketchiness of doing it on Facebook groups and stuff.
Yeah.
If teams themselves were just like, hey, if everybody puts in $5, we'll give someone a set of tickets to a game.
Hell, man, I'd buy a lottery ticket just to get a good parking spot some places. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're going to Toronto for a Jays game. You're like, yeah, I'll throw $10 into a kitty to see if I can park next to the stadium.
Well, even imagine if like the government of Canada did lottery tickets and they're like, whoever wins doesn't have to pay their taxes.
No.
Right?
Although the problem with that is, it's just going to be the like multi-millionaires that are scrambling to buy all those scratcher tickets.
Oh my God, dude. If it was scratch tickets, all my friends at Circle K would be going crazy.
Dude, you got some middle-aged man running through town like Charlie from Willy Wonka with the golden ticket. Mm-hmm. I don't have to do my taxes.
Dude, the greatest winner Gagnon of all time.
No doubt.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Snoop Dogg did an interview where he was asked if hip hop was an Olympic event, who he thinks would do well, who he'd draft to his team. And it got me thinking.
Flava Flav.
No, he did not, honestly, surprisingly, did not pick Flava Flav. And I mean that seriously. I say surprisingly because I think an Olympic battle of the bands, and you could open it up to all genres, would be amazing. I think it would be super fun.
Yeah.
You couldn't judge it on like the music that they're playing because I think music is too subjective. But I think you could objectively rank bands on an Olympic level for their performance and showmanship skills.
Sure,
right?
You could do that,
You could have bands come out and play a 2 to 3 song set, and then judges hold up scorecards for like how did they interact with the audience? Did they have pyro? Did they have special effects?
Well, I mean, you could even like have actual events and stuff. Like you could have everyone do like a David Lee jump, David Lee Roth jump. Right?
Dude.
That's the high jump event.
I was going to say, it's very similar to like if you go to the Arctic Winter Games, the 1 foot high kick.
Yeah, exactly. Or even you could do like a 100-meter dash across the stage. Brad Emmons of the Glorious Sons. That guy's fast as hell as he runs across the stage.
Well, and you could do multiple versions of it too, right? Because you could have one that's just straight like frantic speed, like you said, like Emmons. But you could also have like different genres. Like you could do the Angus Young duck walk, 100-meter dash.
Across the stage? Yeah. I mean, even a best guitar smash.
That would be amazing. Right? Just, guys come up. It would be like the skateboarding event where they each get 5 tries to do a trick.
Yeah.
They've just got their rack
They
of
got the
5
best
guitars.
smash instead of best trick.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I hate to say it, but if esports are going to become part of the Olympics in any way,
which they shouldn't,
it feels like we could bring music in if we're trying to get more culture in the Olympics.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Got some good suggestions for the Rock Olympics here at 762-555. I mean, Matt, I didn't think of this one. Just best scream in general.
Best scream would be good. Also, like holding notes, like just how long can you hold a well-sustained note for like the end of a song?
You could do length, but you could also measure it by like decibel levels as well.
Who can like, what's that old trick that they show vocalists can like shatter glass? How they'll take like a wine glass, they could shatter it with their voice.
Yeah.
Who can do the most? The glass gets progressively thicker as they just shatter it with those notes.
Even you could do best power slide. I know we were talking about like running across the stage, but like how far can you slide on the knees?
Yeah. And then the controversy comes out that they were like putting Vaseline on their knees.
They're greasing up.
They're greasing up the knees to get further in the slide.
Or you know that thing that like guitar players will do, and they'll whip their guitar around their shoulders on the strap?
Oh, yeah.
How many of those can you do in a row?
Consecutive. Yeah. Without any slack. As soon as the rope gets slack, then it's like, all right, he's done.
Or disqualified if your guitar just flies right off.
Well, yeah, unless you catch it. I think if you catch it, then that's like the dismount on the balance beam.
Oh, even thinking now, how many times have you been at a show and you've seen the guitar player throw his guitar to the guitar tech?
Oh, yeah.
Like best guitar toss?
Dude, it does make sense if we're going to do Rock and Roll Olympics. There should be roadie events as well.
Oh my God, the roadie events would just be amazing,
Dude,
too.
fastest changeover from one band to another. You've got to take all the gear off and bring all the gear back on.
Absolutely.
I would watch the hell out of that, brother.
We got friend of the show, Brother Jay, on the phone. Brother Jay, what would you like to see in the Rock Olympics?
You gotta have a freaking fat eating competition. I think that would be kind of neat.
Now, do you score it like the Nathan's hot dog eating contest where it's like how many bats, or do you score it on like style points?
I don't see why we couldn't have a little bit of column A and column B.
It's about the precision and the speed.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you can honestly have another one for like gross out and see how many people in the crowd stay. Go full like G.G. Allen on the crowd or something.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I'm liking that idea.
You're on board?
I think that would work out quite well.
You know, the thing is if this was happening in the 80s, there would be no drug testing for sure.
Oh, no. Absolutely no drug testing.
I think there would probably be a medal for like most drugs.
Drug encouraging.
Yes.
There'd be trays in the back like, hey, before you go, you know in gymnastics they've got the little pots you can powder up your hands with the resin?
It's just bags of blow. That's all it is.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
All right, you ready? Good morning. Today's word is slubber. Yep, slubber. It's slubber. Slubber. And it's hastily or carelessly. So I guess kind of like first and then safety. Anyways, that's about it. Have a great one. Cheers are up.
Slubber sounds like an erotic version of flubber. Does it not?
The Flubber sequel you can only get with your credit card information.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the Cinemax or whatever it's called movie.
Who knew that apparently a lot of the way you drivers are out there is slubberish.
Mm-hmm. So hastily, that means like hurried or urgent kind of
very rushed. Yeah,
thing, yeah.
It's basically reckless.
You slubbered the food and you got us sick. If you drink too fast, you're going to get slubbered.
That's a very real
great
possibility.
Way to use that. Yeah.
And once you are slubbered, it's only going to get worse from there.
Yeah. Or the carelessly, I mean, you could use that at work, like you guys are all slubberish or something.
Oh, there's always somebody, like if you work on like a construction site, there is a slubber person on every work crew who's just cutting corners, doing everything too shoddy, too late. Like just slow down a little bit.
Who did this slubber job?
Who slubbered this job?
Dude, if you got that guy on the crew that's always just half-assing it, start calling him slubs. That's the move.
I need you to quit slubbering and pay attention, focus, and do the job right.
Slubber. Use it wherever you can.
I do not like it in quick repetition.
I am going to Google later to see if there is an erotic version of flubber.
Well, your afternoon's booked.
I'm very curious on that.
For more Brock and Dalby,
tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store. With all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.